4.2, the Capital Markets Authority Amendment Bill 2022.
Honorable members, Article 94.4b of the Constitution of Uganda, as I have always said, is a bedrock for that gives the private members to raise private members' bill. And here is, and it's your constitutional right, which equally should not be abused. And the abuse now comes in when you bring a bill and you're seeking for leave. That is a bill we send to Ministry of Finance. But when it reaches to committee level, you make alterations. We are not going to entertain that abuse or privileges. Honorable Nathan, can you proceed?
I thank you, Right Honorable, for this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I raise to move a motion seeking leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill to amend the Capital Markets Authority Act Cap 84, moved under Rules 121 and 122 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda. Madam Speaker, whereas Article 79 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda empowers Parliament to make laws for peace, order, development, and good governance of Uganda, and whereas Article 94.4b of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 121 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament provide that a member has the right to move a private member's bill. Aware that Parliament enacted the Capital Markets Act, Cap 84, which established the Capital Markets Authority for the purpose of regulating the securities sector, and that Parliament subsequently amended the Capital Markets Authority Act in 2011 to provide for preparation of prospectuses and information memoranda to enable issuance of securities on exchanges, and in 2016, providing inter alia that for the Capital Markets Authority to approve prospectuses and information memoranda and to introduce financial and prudential regulations. Further aware, Madam Speaker, that Uganda, through the CMA, is a member of the International Organization of Securities Commission, IOSCO, an international body that brings together the world security regulators, and recognizing that as the global standard setter for the securities sector, concerned that the Capital Markets Authority Act in its current state poses challenges in its implementation so far as it separates the power of approval after documents, including prospectuses and information memoranda, which is granted to the Capital Markets Authority as a regulator, from the power of exchanges to conduct scrutiny, to certify compliance, or prospectuses to issue and list securities, yet all powers relate to prospectuses, hence has had the effect of entrenching division in the listing approval powers and consequently created bureaucratic challenges amongst players in the market. I Right Honorable further concerned that in 2016 amendment expanded the 2016 amendment expanded the CMA powers into prudential regulations, which power are akin to those of the central bank in the banking sector, without regard to the IOSCO requirement to restrict such regulation by a capital markets regulator with the justification of the specific risk to be mitigated. Moreover, the conduct of regulated entities has never been given a central focus in the regulation of the securities markets. Noting that the Capital Markets Authority Act creates confusion in the mandate of the Capital Markets Authority by granting authority the power to make regulations, providing for the fees to be charged for the regulated activities in the capital markets. Yet the Act does not make provision for regulated activities, but provides for approved and regulated persons. Recognizing that Uganda, as a member of the International Organization of Securities Commissions, IOSCO, has an obligation to incorporate the IOSCO objectives and principles of security regulation into its legal framework that governs the capital markets industry, convinced that there is urgent need to amend the Capital Markets Authority Act to clearly provide for the functions of the Capital Markets Authority to regulate the conduct of approved persons as opposed to regulating products, activities, which is the current practice. Incorporate IOSCO objectives and principles of securities regulation into the Capital Market Authority, designate an approved stock exchange as the listing authority make provision for a single entity to scrutinize, certify, and approve prospectuses. Now therefore be resolved that Parliament grants me leave to introduce a private member's bill to amend the Capital Markets Authority Act, a draft of which is attached here and I'm laying on the table, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Nathan Igeme. Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Honorable Olanya, Gilbert, Aogon, Ivanda, Rose, Apea, Apea New Year, Abe, Akamba, by the whole house. Would you still love to speak about your motion or you have spoken? Can I give a seconder? Seconder? Done.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
1 minute.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I raised second the motion, and clearly the mover articulated the major issues that we hope will be brought out in the amendment. But majorly the spirit is to reduce on the restrictions and open capital markets so as to attract many players, since it is a growing sector in our economy, and aware that many other businesses are going down. This is one of the safest areas of investment, and it would be in the interest of many Ugandans to get the opportunity to be players in this part of the economy, but also to participate without restrictions or limiting it to a few players. And we hope at the end of the amendment, those restrictions will be cured. I beg to second. the
Thank
motion.
you,
Thank you very
thank
much,
you.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Lanya.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to appreciate my colleague for this very important private members bill. Right Honourable Speaker, as the country, we depend majorly on business, and capital markets is so paramount for Ugandans. Looking at this, Right Honourable Speaker, and looking at the mood of the House, I would like to move, Right Honourable Speaker, that you put the questions, that the leaves be given to my colleague to process his bill so that it becomes the act of Parliament for the betterment of this country. I beg to move, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honorable members, I put a question that this House grants leave to Honorable Igeme Nabeta to introduce the Capital Markets Authority Amendments Bill 2022. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I direct the clerk to ensure that all the necessary assistance is granted to Nathan, and so that he can bring his bill for the first reading. Thank you so much, Nathan.